On this segment of the video, we're going to do a walk around, take some paint meter measurements, point out any obvious cosmetic imperfections or structural issues as I do the walk around. I'm standing about 10 feet from the car, so this is the way it presents itself, right? So that definitely presents very well, right? I don't see any obvious cosmetic issues from this distance here. So let's go ahead and dial right in and then start taking a look here. So about 5 feet, 4 feet, and then 3. So pretty close now. So this is when you can start noticing stuff that becomes obvious. And so far, I'm not really seeing anything. Starting off with the front bumper area, I always like to check the gap between the fender and the bumper. So it's about an index finger, and then we'll check the other side to see how the alignment is. Main reason for that is we're checking for alignment and then also the attention to detail. Okay, chrome looks like it's in good shape, but it's in great shape actually, so I would say it wouldn't need any attention. I always like to give the grill a nice little tap, and it feels really solid. Right? Okay, good. Lenses there, good. Trim, good. Right. And then bottom lights, side markers, good. And then finger here. So it's just slightly off, so it's pretty darn close. Not seeing any paint issues as of yet, meaning like prep work, fisheye, cloudiness. So it looks pretty clean. Before we get the hood, let's take a look at the windshield. I'm not seeing any obvious signs of delamination, chips, or cracks. Okay, good. Rubber is looks like it's in good condition as well. And then while I'm here, I like to get a view of the dash. Just checking for any cosmetic imperfections. Wipers, I'll be checking the operation here, and then the cowl grill looks decent as well. Let's start off with some paint meter measurements. This meter here reads in the mils. So when we get that specific reading of 19.7, that's an indication of body filler. And then, so we'll see if we get some solid ones. So yeah, so it's got some body filler here. We don't know how much, right? The only way we can figure that out is if we were to sand it down to bare metal. I like this just so I can know if there is Bondo, so that way I run my hand across the panels, and what I'm doing is I'm checking for workmanship issues like waviness, right? And I'm not feeling that. The paint is smooth to the touch, and it's got a nice sheen to it as well. Maybe a little worn right there. I'll just get a reading. Okay, so still getting the Bondo readings. 19.7, and then here I can see where the paint has been chipped at some point. All right, let me get out of the shade here. All right, and let's do some fender readings. 20. Okay, so this is a first reading that we've gotten without an indication of a lot of Bondo. So 20, 19.7. So all right, so on let's say a stock car, a newer car, those readings are about 4.5 to 6. On the classic cars, they've been repainted. Typically, a good solid reading would be like anywhere from 9 to 15. So this one's a little thicker, 20. Right. So just to give you an idea. Fender, 19.7. Okay, so again, when I run my hands across, I'm not feeling any waviness. I'm not seeing any prep work issues like blistering or cracks. Also, while I'm here, I like to get a shot of the wheel well area. And I've asked Dan to leave the car partially raised. That way I can get a better look of the underside. Okay, tires look good. Nice condition. I was looking for a tire size on there. I didn't see it. Rims, don't see any damage there. This trim here just needs to get secured. You can see how it's just kind of loose there. Looking at the gaps here on the doors is what I like to pay attention to. There is some inconsistencies here, right? You always like to see a nice even line there, so I'll be checking for structural issues as well. But so far, looking decent. 19.7. Okay, something else we always want to pay attention to is the chrome work and bright work, because that's really expensive to redo, and so far it's really presentable. I'm not seeing any cloudiness, no scratches, no pitting. 21. All right, good. More Bondo. Okay. All right. Again, just rubbing my hands across the panels. Let's get this here, there's a glare on my end, so I'll need to review this myself when I'm back at the desk. And then rims, no obvious sidewall damage to the rubber or in the rims, look decent. Let's get a side panel view from the back end. And I just like going up and down, just checking for signs of waviness, dings, or dents. I'm not seeing anything obvious coming out at me. Looking at the rear bumper area, okay, just index finger there. All right, good. Lenses, not seeing any cracks. Chrome, again, very presentable. Back area here. Let's get the readings. 19.7, 19.7. Just seeing maybe just a little bit of cloudiness from the shooting pattern, but it's nothing obvious. Okay. And let's take a look here at the gas filter. I haven't even checked this yet. All right, good. All looks like it's all in order. Okay, chrome still, again, good shape. Index finger, really tight here versus the left side. So that's something I noticed. Okay, looking at the side panel view. Again, we're looking for dings, dents, and signs of waviness. All right, trim good. Let's get the wheel well area. All right, and let's get some meter readings. 19.7. Oops, 7. Stand by. Okay, so I'm not even getting. There we go. 19.7. 7. Okay. Chrome, decent shape. Good. All right. Belt line, good. Okay. So we know that the car definitely has Bondo use. So now we just try to determine the quality of workmanship, and I'm not seeing any prep issues. And this seems to be nicely applied and no cracking. Let's get the readings here on the hood. 21, 19, 19.7. Okay, and a view of the windshield on the right side. Again, no obvious signs of cracks, chips, or signs of delamination. Good. And here on the dash, looks good. You can see just a little bit, some cracks right there by the vent. Moving on to the next segment. The car's been sitting here for about 45 minutes with the engine off. Sadly, when I first got here, it was being road tested or warmed up by Dan, because he said, it runs kind of cold-blooded, so he wanted to make sure it was running okay. So we don't know about its cold engine performance, if it takes a long time to start or if it misfires or anything like that. The only thing I can do is let it sit for a while, and then we'll do the restart. So this is going to be my our second time starting it. Out mileage on this is 29,082. So from what Dan instructed me is that it's fuel injected, right? So we just need to put it on the on position for about 10 seconds. Let the fuel pump its fuel, right? And then he said after 10 seconds, I just go by that audible warning now. It should just fire right up. So here we go. Okay, so starts up fairly nice. That considering it's an older car, it fired right up. I know on the newer cars, it clicks after half a second, but I'd say that's more than acceptable. We're gonna walk towards the rear of the vehicle. We're gonna take a look at the exhaust and then make our way towards the engine bay area. So far, it feels pretty smooth, decent idle. Temp gauge, we'll keep an eye on that to see if that's working. It's just above the cold, and the fuel level is at a quarter. And then we'll see if the clock works. That's the seconds, and then we know it's not working. But let's go ahead and walk towards the rear of the vehicle. And before I even go any further, I don't know if I mentioned it on the first walk around, but when we first arrived, I wanted to capture the top operation on video so that way we can see it go up and down without issues. But apparently it's not working. He says that the top is mostly down, so it's been a long time since he raised it. So he may have to get that sorted out because I know when it comes to these convertible tops, they are really delicate. Not too many people know how to work on them to begin with, and I know because I've got one that I did the research. There's actually a guy that travels across the United States just dialing in these convertible tops. So as of today, we were not able to verify the operation of the power top. So moving towards the rear of the vehicle. All right, and just kind of looking at the back here, just checking for any signs of smoke coming out. Sounds pretty decent. I'm just hearing a slight little misfire. The left bank, left. Okay. But it's intermittent. So right now, okay, there it goes again. Okay, so it comes in and out. I can hear it just briefly. It sounds minimal. Moving towards the front of the engine, I always look at the hood, the underside. Don't see any damage there. Looks like maybe some silicone or was added there to minimize the vibration of the panel. Looking at the engine bay, I always look here at the inner fender well. Right, I'm not seeing any obvious signs of front impact damage. No crinkling of the metal, I should say. It's got a aftermarket radiator there. And looking at the pulley area here, AC does not have its belt on there, so we know that's not going to work. Looking at the drive belts here, they look, I don't see any wobbling, so it looks good. And then looking at the block, there's some wetness, and then the inner fender well. I also was able to capture the chassis number there. I took still photos, and here's a video, but we'll see how those came out. I'm not able to remove the cap for the reservoir for the brake fluid because the car was driven. Everything is so hot that it's hard for me to touch these metal components to use them as leverage. So I won't be able to comment on the brake fluid condition. Just looking at the firewall area, everything seems to be in order. Let's see here. All right, just a quick rev there. Not hearing any abnormal noises coming from the top end or the bottom end of the engine. I am seeing some smoke coming out there lately. I don't know if it's going to come out on the video or not, but so it is burning some oil. All right, and let's go to the other side here. Let me lower the idle. All right. Now on the right side of the vehicle, just taking a quick look at the firewall. Again, everything looks like it's in order. I've already checked the transmission fluid. That looked decent. We'll have to ask him if it burns oil because he's got this funnel, if it's for the transmission or for the engine. See, looks like he's got that on standby there. I also checked the engine oil. Didn't see any obvious signs there. And also, I did notice an oil leak there at the back of the intake manifold. I wiped away most of it because I wanted to see with a towel if it was oil or it was transmission fluid. All right, and then again we can see some more wetness around there. We can see that the fans have cooled on or have engaged, so that's a good sign. So I won't be able to open up the radiator now, but I did open it when it wasn't running, and I'm a little concerned about that because it seems like there's some contaminants in the fluid itself. So I don't know if it's oil or they added an additive in there, but it's almost got like a light brown color to a copperish color. So I'll be sure to ask them about that as well. But that does raise a little bit of concern. Okay. Again, this idling pretty decent. Not seeing any obvious signs here in the front. Looks like it's got a battery cutoff there, so it's good to know if the car sits for a long period of time, if that needs to be set after you park it, or if it's overnight, or after a week. These are the type of questions I'll be sure to ask them. And if not, yeah, you may ask them as well if I don't get any of this stuff addressed here for you today. All right. And so this still idling, and we'll take another look at the gauges. All right. And it kind of looks like in the same position there. So, well, we'll see. What I do is, even though I'm done with this segment of the video here, I'm going to end up closing the hood, and I'm going to let the engine run for at least another 15 or 20 minutes because I want to see if it overheats or anything, right, from sitting here while I, take photos of the interior and move on with the rest of the car. If something comes up, I'll be sure to add it to the video. I've had the engine idling probably for about 15, 20, maybe 20 plus minutes already while I checked out the interior. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down now. The cooling gauge never moved from that original spot. So let's turn it off now. And so the cooling fans are still running. Engine, they've now shut off. I could see the fuel gauge starting to drop, and looks like the coolant gauge as well. So it looks like it is functional. Okay, so let's start going over the operation here. Check the doors. I've got the warranty badge number there. Still photos of that. Door jambs look good, nice and solid, not seeing any obvious rust anywhere else. I'll review that. Just make sure that's a fact. The door panels are good. Check the operation of the windows and wing windows. Those all worked. Opened and closed these. Adjustments worked. The handle from the inside worked. All the switches were working here, as well as the window adjustment here. Here, looking at the door jamb area, not seeing any obvious signs of being worked. Looks pretty decent there. Got a shot of the underside here of the dash. I still need to check the operation of the lights. When Dan comes back out here, I'll stand outside and look at the lights. I wasn't able to verify the operation of the windshield washers or wipers, right? It feels like it's jammed up a little bit, and I don't like to force anything, especially if it's not my car. So I'll have Dan look at that as well. Door locks did not work. Parking brake did not keep the car still when I had it engaged in drive or reverse. So parking brake is not working well. Again, the top operation, we know that's not working. Hood release is okay. I saw the lights with the indicator work for the turn signals, and the horn is working. Here on this side here, blower fan. I could hear the blower fan work. Heater, I'd like to say it's working, but it's so hot outside I can't tell. Right, and the antenna is operating. Original radio, because you got the aftermarket radio, so I didn't make any attempts as far as operating it there. And with the seat adjustment here, that wasn't working. I can hear it click here for for that adjustment for up and down, but as far as the main switch here, nothing. So that's gonna need attention. So that's where it's gonna be positioned and can't be moved until that gets repaired. I always like to comment on the way the doors open and close. So not binding up at all. Really easy to close. And then same as the rear door. Okay, there we go. All right, check the operation of the windows. Those all worked. Handle here. Well, let's push that in and see what happens. Door jambs look decent. Seat looks good. Don't see any obvious cosmetic issues here. This is slightly out here a little bit. I tried pushing that in. Maybe that's just an adjustment. I've already checked the seat belts. Those do engage, and the back of the seats look good. Okay. Let's close this door, and I heard this thing pop, and I feel some heat, so that's working too. Good. All right, so I'll close the door here. Let's go on the opposite side. All right. Again, let's see how the door opens and closes. Nice, not binding up. Don't feel any play coming from the hinges. Windows worked. Still working. Okay. Back seats look good. Again, check that, and then the armrest as well comes down. No tears, no obvious cosmetic issues. And then there's the back side of the seats, and jambs look good. Nice solid close. And let's see, right front door. No play coming from the hinges here. Looks good. Door panel's in good shape. Check the operation of the windows and the wing window, of course, from the block here and then the main block. They're all working. I know I checked for that stuff because it can get really expensive. Here it looks like it has been worked. You can see little crease marks here. So looks like it did have some sort of impact at one point in time. Okay, and then here's a view of the underside. Carpet looks good. Seats look good. There is a scratch, or not a scratch, but more of a slice right there. But it seems superficial. It didn't seem like it went all the way through the material. Sun visor's good. Chrome, again, nice shape. We don't do videos of the underside, but here we go. So it was looking pretty straightforward. Not seeing anything obvious. There's an undercoating, so it's tough to determine the condition of the metal, but nothing obvious was jumping out at me. So that was the back half. I'm more towards the center of the car, and then here you can start seeing where some of the supports have been pushed up, and then this is why I'm doing the video, because there is some, you see the metal rot right there, where it was repaired and not done properly. So this is just behind the right front tire of this area. And one final look. So you get into some metal right there. So that would need to be corrected. And then oil leaks. It's pretty active, dripping here while it was running, and I can actually see the drops come down from time to time. Transmission, engine. Let's get to the side here. All right, and I've got still photos too, so it's kind of nice to have that as well. Got it running? Ready? Yep. We can check the operations of the airbag system. All right. There. Yep. Good. All right, and then back up again to where we can drive it. Great. All right. So we've been road testing here for about, say, maybe 3, going on 4 miles here. The horn blows up, but we did the operational check where we've been driving. When it lets go of the steering wheel, it does veer to the right, so it does have an alignment issue. That would need to get checked out. Applying the brakes, same thing. It'll automatically just shoot to the right. But I don't hear or feel the wheels locking up. So that's checking out fine. Top speed we reached was around 55 miles an hour. I didn't see a shimmy coming from the steering wheel. Going from the low gears to drive and just doing manual shifting and leaving it in drive, the transmission does shift well. It's seamless. I'll stay quiet here for a second as we go. And we're on 40 miles an hour, so there's an electronic register right there, 39. So it looks like the odometer is off a little bit. So again, we're just moving through the gears. I'm not hearing any abnormal noises coming from the suspension, like any clunks or anything like that. And what else? We'll just continue to drive. If something comes up, I'll be sure to add it to the video. And wrap it up.